All right, lot tour part 2. Did I talk about the Corolla? All right, Corolla. It's everybody Nate's, works for John at VI. It's got a Bimms engine. It's pretty cool. I don't know anything about it.
Nothing.
He just stores it here and pays me.
It has mirrors on the fenders. That's cool.
It's got fender mirrors and cool wheels. It's gonna run this year maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to my stuff. 6 Series, 2004 E63, 645 CSI. I love this thing. You haven't seen videos on it? It does really good car stuff. It drives pretty good on track. It's a factory manual. I paid $3,700 for it. I put ESRs on it. They cost me like $1,000. I put coilovers on it. They cost me $180. I put M5 E60 M5 brakes, an E60 M5 diff, and an E60 M5 twin disc clutch out of an SMG E60 M5. I had that car, just used it as parts. But so far it's been super reliable. I paid Zach some money and he did like the alternator bracket gasket, which is like the oil cooler gasket, because mine has an oil cooler, and then some other things. I did the vacuum pump on it. There's been some videos, but anyway, it's great. The way I like to look at this car, you guys might disagree, but to me this acts very much like with this diff. So the biggest upgrade was the diff. So it went from a 323 open to a 362 LSD, and that just livened the whole car up.
And it's damn near the same speed as the V80-30.
Yeah, but I'll say this feels like a 2-door E39 M5. That's the best way I can describe it. It's about as engaging as an M5. It's about as heavy and boaty as an M5. It sounds pretty much like an M5. It seems very much like an E39 M5. It's just a 2-door. I meant to do a comparison, but then I sold my E39 M5 to Jason before we did anything of that. But anyway, I love this thing. Paid nothing for it. It sits here. It was my wife's car, but then her knee was bothering her a little bit and didn't want to ship a manual anymore. So then now I have it again, and it was like, all right, budget track car. And I'm taking it to Grid Life this year. Grid Life Alpine Horizon will be there, and this will be my like open lapping time car. So stay tuned for it.
Also, dude, I just noticed you got a crack on your fender.
Yeah, it's been there.
Has it?
Yeah, these have plastic fenders.
Nice.
G53, 2006, 4.8 IS, X5. I just got it. There's been videos. If you guys I'm sure you've seen it. I'm maybe gonna sell this thing to Diego, but like, man, it's kind of like, this thing's sweet. From the last video, I've discovered it doesn't actually have air suspension. It's been converted strictly to coil on spring. I don't know out of which X5, a V8 or a 6-cylinder one, but either way, it rides great. It handles good. I chased Hamish around one of his favorite corners and he couldn't get away in his E38, and X5 was right there. Still doesn't have power steering, still doesn't have a speedometer because the ABS sensor's done, but besides that, this thing's pretty sorted. So she might hang around, she might not. Trusty Pathfinder. So she's a little worse for wear today. But as you know, I bought this thing brand new in 2006 when I was a college student-ish. I might have been dropped out at the time. Either way, I lived in Laramie, Wyoming. I went to college there, I managed a hotel, went to college, managed a hotel, did that for a lot of years. Anyway, bought it brand new, loved it, did everything with it, and then all of a sudden, later in life, I started getting other cars and it just sat and sat and sat. But it has found its new purpose. It is the off-road, camping, overlanding, beat the shit out of it vehicle with my family. We took it yesterday, me and the Saw Dudes guy Andrew, to pre-run the Gambler trip we're doing tomorrow, and one of the trails was really tight. Like, I was hitting both mirrors at the same time tight, and she's a little worse for wear. We got some pretty big tree damage here.
Sorry, I couldn't get past the fender vent.
This is all smushed in. This has some new stuff. Hit right here and broke the window.
Deleted the window.
Yeah. This side is better, but not a whole lot better. There's that. I don't think there's anything really down there. pounded this into a bunch of stuff. I didn't actually break it. This dent is new. This scrape is new. This was from pushing cars. And I blew this shock up that was here. So, just gonna need a little love. But drove back no problem. So, that's the Pathfinder. 4-liter V6, runs forever, doesn't leak anything, has had like 0 maintenance its entire life, has 133,000 miles. Best rig ever. You can't buy something cheaper or better. All right, we're bypassing Will's area. If Will wants to do a lot tour, he can do a lot tour. Comment below. We got the Calypso wagon. Starter life is a 525. Obviously it's a touring, and I have decided that I want to make like an Alpina B10 bi-turbo replica setup. So she no longer has an M50 or a trans or anything. She's kind of in the limbo. She's ready to go. In a later lot video, I'll show you the car that's going into it, or we'll already have it stripped of that car. But either way, I want to go twin turbo M30, and I have a cool interior for it. I want to get the entire outside completely restored. It's going to end up being like a sick car. But it's not high on the priority list because we need drift car to get done. I want to get one of the GTRs done, and then turbo V30 is bypass this one. I sold this, don't own this. Sold that, don't own that. Next row. 2004 545i. Pretty much the same car as my blue 6 Series, just a 5 Series. It was a manual. I bought this to swap Diego's 6 Series that was the same as mine, same color and everything, but his was an SMG. So transmission and everything pedals and everything came out of this to go into that. And it's just been sitting here as a parts car ever since. It probably should just leave, but it's still here. Nothing. Bam. This car started it all for me. Bought this in 2018. This is the first E34 I've ever owned. This is a 1991 E34 M5 in Brilliant Rot with 87,000 miles. Doesn't have an engine, doesn't have a transmission. Pretty much everything M about this car was gone when I got it. I got it for $400. And funny enough, my buddy Nat is the one who bought this car running and driving in Utah, drove it back to Denver, and then he parted it out because of this little bit of Bondo on here. And he was like, oh, it's garbage. So he parted the car out, sold the engine, diff, interior, everything. I have since acquired parts. So these are M Sport bumpers off of a Hellrot 540i M Sport. I didn't grab the keys to it, but I have an entire hurricane cloth Alcantara E34 manual heated interior, but it's not a 4-seat rear, so whatever.
Isn't it with the breadbasket?
The leather one is, but the leather one's coming out. The hurricane cloth is not. So yeah, so it's faded a little bit. She'll come back. So plans with this car, this is not a channel car. I mean, I'm sure I'll record stuff, but this is a me thing. This is what started the E34 stuff. There's another car that we're not going to get to today, but it has an engine for this car, and yeah, it might not seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but I want this to be like $100,000 restoration, and it's probably going to take me like 10 years to get done from the time that I start. So I've got some money into the interior and bumpers and stuff, and I already bought the engine and whatnot, but like, this thing's going to be amazing. It's going to be unique. It might be the only one in the world with that engine. We'll see. But anyway, on to the next one. Random E38 that I got for 350 bucks. Sold the cats for $1,000 as soon as I got it. It's a piece of shit. The door doesn't open. Anyway, Hamish wanted me to tell you guys it has the K40 integrated radar detector, which he thinks is cool. I don't know if you guys are E38 people, but yeah. It'll sit here for a bit. If we need E38 parts, then it'll go away. 325i coupe, E36 shell. Sold the engine, came with a vert that I bought. Already sold the vert, don't need this for anything. It's parts car. 1983 E28 533i manual, runs and drives. I've kind of parted it out a little bit. I didn't get a title with it. This color is sick. I think it's like Merlot or something. But like, look at how nice this shit was.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's pretty.
Like that was a really cool color. If you don't know about the, wait, I have to push this. If you don't know about the earlier E28s, the 33s, they came with a 3.2 liter M30. But they had some cool stuff. So they have a 272 cam from the factory, and they have a lightweight single mass flywheel. So even though they had less horsepower, and only barely less, these were just as fast, if not faster, than the later 535i US E28s. So pretty cool. I actually sold this car to Zach today for 500 bucks. So it had Euro headlights, which we didn't even notice when we bought it. So I already sold those to Zach for his. But this is going tomorrow for me, a few days ago for you, to the Hoop DX race. So it's gonna be Zach driving this and me driving the diesel Mercedes. And we're gonna do BMW versus Mercedes, auto versus manual, diesel versus gas. It's gonna be Euro Garage versus DBO. Like, it's showdown of the century. But anyway, that'd be cool. I think I paid $1,000 for the car, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
I sold the cat off of it. I sold the headlights to Zach already. I made a few $100. He'll have fun, and then he can use the rest of the parts. The trans in these ones, the early ones, it's a 260/5. It's the identical transmission to manual M20 E30s. It just has an M30 bell housing, so it's not a very desirable trans. We got what I think is a 97 sedan E36 M3. Will actually bought this car a long time ago, out of some barn in Nebraska. $1,000, blown head gasket, manual M3, no title. It's helped a lot of people. The manual swap came out of this and went into that red M3 over there that Will sold to his friend Matt in Texas, and then bought back and then sold that engine to a friend, and then this engine came out of this car and went into our friend James's E34 Touring for an S52 Touring. And then I sold the coilovers off of it to my buddy Kylan, who put them on his E36. This thing's just been helping out cars, so pretty cool. Anyway, it's just a parts car. It sits, it's not going anywhere. Another E60. Paid $300 for this one. It's a 530i Xi. It's got black sport interior. It's like not in horrible shape, and the stereo sounded good. It's super hailed out, as you can see. It doesn't even have a back window. Plans with this car is we were supposed to drive this to Vegas for the Mint 400 and the Hoop DX at the Mint 400. I was going to participate with this. That got canceled because of COVID. And then I was planning on keeping it and using it in December when the Mint 400 happens, but I ended up selling the cats off of it, and these have cats in the exhaust and then also in the headers. So it doesn't have headers right now. And I kept the pieces, and I was like, yo, I'll just do this and I'll just do that and weld it back together, but I don't think it's worth it. So I think I'm just gonna part it out. But not a bad car. Here's the car I think a couple of you guys have asked about, but we've never talked about it. So this is, I don't remember the year. Let me check the year. So, wow, that's really stiff. This is a 1988 E24 M6 with 91,000 original miles. This car was sitting in somebody's backyard since 2013. We picked it up this year or late last year.
Last year.
And Zach actually bought it. I towed it for him, I helped him get it, but this was Zach's car. Still has the S38 V35 in it. We did not try and run it. Obviously it was sitting so long, but we did disconnect the fuel pump and we drove it onto the trailer with the starter, and it sounded 100% great.
Do you remember why the guy parked it?
He parked it because it had a shimmy in the front end, which I'm guessing is thrust arm bushings, and it ground in second gear. This has the same transmission as an E34 M5, the 280/6, I think it is, the Getrag. And they just have synchros problem. It's super standard. So it was a good deal. Zach couldn't pass it up. He then bought an M-Tech 1 E30. His plan with the M-Tech 1 E30 was to put this engine and transmission in it. Have an M-Tech 1 E30 with an S38 and a 5-speed. I don't know if he's still gonna do that, but either way, Zach owns the engine, transmission, drive shaft, and diff. I own everything else, including the title of the car. I traded Zach all the turbo stuff and the engine out of the 535 E34, the original roadkill car that I was in the last lot video, like the first car I talked about. And that's how we made that. So we valued each car at $1,500 or each thing. I'm getting a slightly better deal on this one because now these things have shot through the roof. But I've always wanted an E24. I think they're fucking amazing.
They're so good looking.
And they're always pieces of shit. Like, it's so hard to find a good one, and they cost so much money, and they still have a shitty interior, even if they're like kind of good. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to restore one if I want one. And then why not start with a WBS bin if I'm gonna do it? And I'm not gonna put a straight 6-pack in it, but the engine will be coming out of an M car that I will be putting into it, and it'll be a fully rebuilt, practically brand new engine when it goes in. So it's going to be like a brand new M6 hopefully when it's done. I don't think this will be quite to the level of the M5, but the same kind of thing. Like, this one's going to take time because I want like full, like, gut everything, repaint everything, paint the bay, strip the entire interior, all brand new interior. Like, we're gonna, you know, to the nines. Like, it's going to be a hell of a car. It's fairly clean. It does have some Bondo cracking in here. And the window was down for 7 years, so the interior is a little tired, but it's not.
It's pretty tired.
I mean, not a whole lot more than, you know, any other 80s BMW. It's not wild, but next row, we got that 2007 X5 4.8i. Paid $1,500 for it. I don't know what to do with it. It seems like a super nice car. The interior is like flawless. It's locked. It's the flawless, but it's mocha interior, but it's like in perfect condition. It's 200,000 miles. I really don't know what to do with this thing. I feel like I did well at $1,500, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. Another touring 1995 E34 or 525i. I feel bad about this car. This was a fairly nice car with a slipping and bad auto transmission. I paid $1,500 for this car, and it was complete. No hail, no rust, California car. And I said fuck it and parted it out because I wanted the oil pan. This was years ago. This could have been a really nice car. It had a little bit of paint peeling. The hood off of this car is on my white M5. That's where the wide grille hood came from. But it had roof racks, had a full interior. It wasn't destroyed. I think the bumper is cracked. The front bumper was cracked. I think that's about it.
Is that a new windshield?
I don't know. It's fine. But anyway, yeah. I've sold this car 3 times now and it's never left. I've never bought it back. Nobody came to get it. It's sold again, so we'll see if they come get it this time. I don't currently own it. But yeah, I kind of feel bad I killed a touring, but it's living on, and it might save another Alpine White 95 Touring that's been wrecked in the rear, so we'll see. But it's definitely one of the regret cars. Next one, we got a 1991 E32 735i. I paid $400 for this car. I got a title, but I didn't get a key. It had a blown head gasket, but it had a fairly nice black interior, and it just kind of instantly became a parts car, and it's helped out a lot of people. At this point, there's a few local E32 guys that do some cool stuff, and I've just worked really hard to kind of hook them up with parts to keep their cars on the road. So I just haven't scrapped it yet because I feel like there's still stuff that could help them. And there's not a whole lot of E32s. So it just sits here now, but it's paid for itself a few times. Bam, other car you guys haven't seen. 96 750 IL E38, 110,000 miles. Aspen silver on the outside, lavender gray on the inside. Oh man, even like our window shades are dying. Or was that Hamish? I feel like that
No,
was
they've been
Hamish.
dying.
No, these were down.
Oh yeah, that's probably me.
But yeah, dude, check out purple interior. Check out how cool this is. Leather dash that's not leather. Power rear sunshade, PDC, sport EDC, and all of that stuff still works. The cluster is not good, but that's about it.
These all die.
So I bought this car for $2,000 with some sick ass AC Schnitzer wheels on it. They're the same ones they're the ones that are on the V12 E34 now. If we have any pics of those, I'll have Hamish put it in right now. I paid $2,000 for this car in California when I was going to buy GTR parts. I flew in, Ubered to this guy's shop, picked this up, and then went and bought the shit and drove back to Colorado. And that's pretty much all I've driven this car, but it was a blast. It has a salvage title, and it's a California salvage title. And that guy, he bought it from the auction like 12 years ago, and then fixed it but never registered it. So it's owed like $8,000 in fucking taxes and shit to California at this point. So I'm never gonna get a title for this car, so I gotta figure out something else. But I'm not letting this thing go. And I would love to, I sold the Lexus today. It's gone. I want an E38 VIP low car. I have wheels for this car. I want to paint it Daytona violet. I want to put like an Alpina front lip on it and just slam it on the ground and just roll slow and just be a cool ass E38 with a V12. So that's this car. Behind it, we got E34 525i. I think it's a 1990. It was green, it was painted black. I drove all the way to Utah for this car. I thought it was an M50 car, I just never even thought about it. It's an M20 car. So, but I was interested in the wheels. These are the same wheels I have on my E30 that was in the last video. So I have another set of them now. They're 98 E38 V12 wheels, style 61s. They look sick on older cars. They look good on pretty much any car. But I need to pay for itself. And I was like, oh man, this thing's so low. I think it's on coilovers or something. Get it back here. It just has 4 struts.
No springs.
0 springs. That's how it's slammed. There's no hockey pucks. It's just the struts and the bump stops. So I couldn't get it to run. I couldn't get power to go to anything. Like we put a good battery in it, just like I checked all the fusible links. I didn't spend all that much time. This car's also sold. Same guy that bought this wagon owns it. So, but yeah. Now, since you guys made it this long, bombshell. This is Heidi. This is my 1994 540i Touring. This is a factory 540 Touring. This was imported from Japan. Overnight parts from Japan. It's an HK41 is the VIN, which means, oh, can you get that off my car? Thank you. This started life, I'm not gonna open this yet, as a 540, but it was an auto. We have 6-speed swapped it. But it's got M Sport bumpers, it's got M mirrors, it's got a Quave 346 LSD, it's got a Touring Sport interior with Euro headrest and the Euro glove box. It's a sick fucking car. So I did this last October and never shared it with you guys. So it also has a full period correct Dynan whatever S2 supercharger setup. I was supposed to take this car to Tex Fest last year and we didn't get it to run. I kind of pushed it to the last second. The issue was this was a 94 car, but the supercharger kit came off of a 95, so it was a DME. It was a 484 DME with EWS, and mine was a 404, and the chip was not interchangeable between the two DMEs. So I just need to run the 484 DME and just give it an EWS signal that the car doesn't have. I just need to connect a wire, give it 12-volt source or whatever it is. So that's the plan. So I can get this thing on the road. I would love to get this done for October of this year and drive this to Tex Fest this year. I have quite a bit of money in this car, but the way these have gone up, nowhere near what they're worth now. I paid quite a bit of money for this paint job though, and it's fucking garbage, to be honest with you. So if I can get this thing to where I want it to be, I want to probably get it painted again. The rust is starting to come back that was on it before that the paint job was supposed to fix. And he just painted over most of the stuff and didn't actually fix anything. Whatever, you live, you learn. And then there is some serious surprises for this car down the line. I might share it in one of the next lot videos, but I'll leave it there. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Oh, it has really cool wheels on it too. It has some Apex FL5s, some 18 by 9.5 squared.
They are cool. It's got nice tires and everything.
It's got the angry ass F30 brake conversion on it. It's a hell of a car. The panoramic sunroof works. It's got smileys. It's got.
I drove this for the whole time in
Drive Four Corners.
Yeah, and it was an absolute blast.
I've drifted this car at IMI. I've taken it to Grid Life at PPR and done track with it. It's an amazing car. It still has factory self-leveling, whatever it is. It's not EDC, whatever it is. Self-leveling shocks in the rear, and just Dynon springs in the front. I might still leave the self-leveling in the rear, but one of the front shocks is kind of blown. I can't remember which one it is, but it's kind of boaty. So I have some coilovers for the front for now. But this thing's just great. AC works-ish. It's got some blend door issues, but you can just cruise this thing and it sounds amazing. It's got a super sprint muffler. And then the rest is just not straight pipe, but very aggressive cat deleted exhaust. It's just a good car. It's got 160,000 miles on it.
It is a very cool car.
So I love this thing. I'll never sell it. We used to thing I started, every time somebody asked, the price would just go up $1,000.
I think you're at 17 now, because somebody asked me in the lot the other day.
Yeah, I ain't selling it for anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Now I'm at like 30.
Yeah.
But it's super fucking cool.
It is.
So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoy these lot tours. It's good for me to come out here and look at these cars and talk about them and like kind of rebuild motivation for them, or work on getting rid of parts cars that serve no purpose, like that piece of shit E60 over there, both those piece of shit E60s over there. So
Fucking E60s.
yeah, fuck E60s. But anyway, appreciate the support, guys. Have a good night.